So folks, we have talked a lot on this channel about receipt management, what to do when you've got your big shoebox full of receipts at the end of the tax year. There's got to be an easier way with dealing with this sort of stuff for your small business, and indeed there is. And the piece of software that I'm going to have a look at today is called Dext. Hiya folks, and welcome back to the Small Business Toolbox. And as I say, I am very excited to be looking at this product today. As you know, I have harped on about receipt management and things like that for a long time. It's the bane of most businesses' lives, especially small businesses where you've got probably hundreds, if not thousands of receipts to deal with in order to make sure that you're logging your expenses correctly so that you're not paying too much tax. We've discussed in previous videos about just manually logging your expenses into a spreadsheet, and that's fine if you've only got a handful of receipts, but if you're generating this sort of paperwork on a regular basis, you need to make sure this is logged in an efficient manner, especially as we're approaching things like making tax digital for income tax. That's going to really throw a spanner in the works for a lot of small businesses, because you're going to end up having to keep your accounts up to date on a much more regular basis. But fear not, help is at hand, and there's a bit of software that I want to show you called Dext. I am very excited about it because I'm already very familiar with the underlying technology. You may have even seen a video on this channel from a long time ago where we played around with receipt scanning software. Well, things have moved on a lot since then. So let's get straight into it. We're going to dive onto the computer. I'll show you exactly what Dext does. Whether you're a one-man band or a larger business, honestly, this is a game changer. So as I say, just follow that link in the description to get you to the Dext website, and I'm just going to hit this start a free trial button. If you're an accountant, just pick this option on the left, but if you're just a regular business, just pick this option on the right. Fill in your details. Business name, I'm just going to put demo business on this one. Accept the terms and conditions, go for it. I've verified my email address, and now I'm just going to fill in a bit of information about this kind of imaginary business that we've got. What's my role? Owner, continue. And what would I like to do with Dext? Definitely expense management. I want to capture and store receipts. In fact, we might as well just take all of these and see what happens. Which accounting software do you use? Of course, you can link Dext with all of these platforms that are on here and other stuff. But for the purposes of this, I'm just going to use it standalone. And do you have an accountant or bookkeeper? I'm just going to say no, continue. And we're ready to make a start. Start exploring. So I think before showing you around the desktop interface, I'm just going to have a quick look at the different plans that are available. And if you just scroll down on here, you can see the plan that I'm on at the minute, which is the most basic one, £23 a month. That's billed annually, and that's for up to 5 users, 250 documents a month. And you get 10 sheets of bank statement extraction, 5 documents with line item extraction, statements of supplier statement extraction as well. But obviously, if you're a bigger organization, you've got all of these options here for slightly more advanced offerings. Anyway, back into the desktop app. We've got a nice little helpful get started guide here, and it's also telling us to download the Dext app, which I will do on my mobile, because one of the main things that you're probably going to be doing is snapping receipts on the go from your phone, and then they will automatically upload into your Dext account. So I think the best thing to do, I'm just going to try using this in anger, and we'll try it with a few different receipts and different scenarios and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to try a lot of things from the desktop app first of all, and then I'll show you the mobile app. And as I say, it'll probably be the mobile app that you'll use more, but once you get your head around the desktop side of things, the mobile app is dead easy. So I've got a few example receipts here that I'm going to try uploading into Dext, and we'll see exactly what it does. Pretty much every conceivable way of receiving an invoice or a receipt from a supplier has been kind of thought about here. And the first method I'm going to try is just manually adding a document. So I'm just going to do add document. We'll maybe cover all these options in a separate video, but I'm going to keep this dead simple. I'm going to pick one of my supplier invoices here. So this is a receipt for a Cronus backup software. All I'm going to do is drag and drop it on, and that's it. So if I come out of here, click anywhere, go to the inbox, and we can now see that has actually processed immediately. Normally it'll sit in the processing queue for a little while it kind of recognizes everything on the invoice. But you can see here, it's processed everything straight away. So if I click onto this, I can see that we've got the invoice date, we've got the supplier, Clever Bridge, we've got the document reference has been extracted from the invoice. It's even worked out what the due date is, it's put a category in, and it's worked out the gross amount, it's extracted the VAT amount, and it's got the net amount as well. And just to compare that against the original, here we go, we've got this document reference number, so it's extracted the invoice number, which is actually the reference that we would want. So it's dismissed this other reference number over here, and it has worked out this is the number that you would want on your accounts. Here's all the amounts down the bottom, £62.99, £10.50 VAT, £52.49 net. And what it's even done as well, you can add a description in, and it's automatically brought a description across, and it's saying, would you like to use this as a description? And it's like, yeah, well, might as well. Just click on that, and it's automatically popped that into the description field. I am going to mark that this has been paid. It's automatically added a payment method for the credit card that it was paid on. We'll talk about supplier rules later on, because what I could do if I wanted, I could set up rules so that whenever an invoice came in from Clever Bridge, it automatically marks it as paid and it puts it into the correct category and all that sort of thing. You can do all of that with supplier rules. You could also break it down by line item if you wanted. So for example, you might have an invoice where different line items need to go into different categories, and you could do that through this option here. Once you're happy that all the information is correct, then you can just click the Move to Ready button, and you can see that's now in this Ready folder over on the left. And from here, if we had this hooked up to accounting software, you could click Publish and send that straight over to Xero or QuickBooks or whatever you're using. Another useful thing in all of this as well is that it keeps a full audit log of everything that's changed on this. So say, for example, I go into here and I'll add a purchase order that was relevant to this. So let's say it's PO 1234. And what else should we add? We'll change the description slightly. Everything just kind of saves automatically as you go, by the way. And if I now go into history, you can see we've got a full audit trail of everything that's happened on this. If there was something in the invoice I wasn't entirely sure about, I could move it back to the review inbox, and then a manager or someone could go into that and just double check that all the information is correct. But I'm happy with that. I'm just going to move it to ready. So that kind of covers manually adding a document into Dext, but you know, you want to be a bit more automated than that. So let's delete this out, and I'll show you another way that you can get documents in. Because as I briefly mentioned earlier, you can have a full team set up in Dext. So for example, I've added users onto the platform here. I've got me, Andy Mack, I'm assigned as kind of the manager and admin person, but then we've also got two other users here, John Smith and Bobby White. And if we go into any of these accounts, we'll see we've got this View Email Addresses button. And basically what happens is Dext can give you an email address for sending document through by email. So you don't have to go into the Dext app at all. You literally just forward your invoice to that email address, and then Dext will know to assign it to your business, to that particular user as a document owner. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to make a note of this email address here, and here is my email account that I'm kind of playing around with here. And let's say we've received an invoice from Acronis by email. Here it is here. All I'm going to do is forward it to Dext. So I'm going to paste that email address in, press send, and that's now gone. Now, let's imagine we've got another invoice from another company, but this one we want to assign it to John Smith, our user John Smith. We're going to pretend he's received an invoice for something. So I'm just going to grab his email address for Dext, which is this one here. And for this one, I'm going to create a new email. Again, I'm just pretending that we've received an email for something that we've purchased, Argos receipt. I'm just going to drag and drop this Argos receipt into my email, send it to that Dext email address, press send. That's now gone. And now if I go back into Dext and scroll up to costs, and we can see at the moment we've got one item sitting in processing. Let's have a look at that. And it is the Acronis invoice, and we can see 8 out of 8 fields have been extracted. So we'll just give it a moment to kind of sort itself out. And you can see that's now popped into the inbox. As before, it's kind of extracted everything out of it that we had before. All looks correct. Again, exactly the way that it worked when we manually added a document, and we can add that description in again. It's automatically extracted that information. Once we're happy with it, once again, I'm just going to click move to ready. And in the meantime, we've got the other email has come in here. That is sitting in processing at the moment. 3 of the 7 fields have been extracted, so it's still having to think about what to do with that. And by the way, normally you would just leave this going behind the scenes. It's very rare that you're going to be desperate for a receipt to be entered within a matter of minutes. Normally, as long as it's processed on the day or within a day or so, that's fine. You can boost items if you've got a lot of things that are trying to be extracted at the same time and some things are more urgent. Or you can completely override it and press the move button, but that'll stop it from doing any automatic extraction and you'll have to enter the details manually. So for now, I'm just going to leave that to sort itself out. And in the meantime, I'll show you some of the other options when you're adding documents. So if you go into here, you can see you've got options across the top here for costs, sales, bank and supplier statements, because you can do much more than just add receipts into this, but we'll cover some of that stuff in a moment. But when you are adding receipts, you can add either 1 document per file or 1 document per page. So if you've got a multi-page PDF that has maybe 5 or 6 invoices in it, you would tell it to do 1 document per page and it'll extract all of those as separate receipts. Generally 1 document per file is fine, but I can drag and drop multiple invoices at once into this and it'll sort them all out separately. So if I just drag these 4 in like that, there you can see 4 documents uploaded successfully. Now if I click off that, go to the inbox, you can see they're all sitting there. It hasn't worked out a category for Twitter, which is interesting, so we'll go into that and pop a category in. There's no category there that I'm particularly happy with, so I'm going to add a category. I'm just going to call it marketing. Obviously you can add a nominal code or whatever you want there. I'm just going to do add. Again, for the description, I'm just going to click on that and it's automatically added it in. I can set up supplier rules so that we can have these categories set by default in future. And once again, it's got all the information correct, the total amount, the tax and the net amount. So again, I'm happy with that. Just move to ready, go back to our inbox. Let's have a look at the Amazon one. Again, I'm quite impressed that it's managed to do this one because the Amazon receipts are a bit of a nightmare when you look at them. So here is the original Amazon invoice here on the left, but if we go through it, we've got the invoice date is correct, 20th of February. If we scroll down, we've got the document reference number, and yes, it's extracted that perfectly. There is nothing on the Amazon invoice that actually indicates that it's been paid, so it doesn't know whether or not this invoice has been paid. But again, you can set up supplier rules for that sort of thing. But what it's done is it's automatically put in a due date of 30 days. So, well, we can kind of ignore that because we're going to just mark that it has been paid. It's automatically worked out that we've bought photocopier paper here and it's put it as office supplies, which is perfect. Again, we can put the description in. I'm just going to do that because it's, well, more information the better as far as I'm concerned. Again, it's got all the amounts correct, so we just need to say yes, that has been paid. We'll say that it was paid on the same payment method. And other than that, that is that one ready to go. Move to ready. We've got another one here for a power supply. Let's go into that and just have a quick scan over that. That looks all fine. I'll just update the payment method and move to ready. And then we've got another Amazon receipt here. This one is for a hard drive. Let's just scroll down. We've got office supplies. That's fine. We'll just update the description. Mark it as paid. And I think what we'll actually do, let's set up a supplier rule for Amazon because everything that we buy from Amazon is paid by default. So let's do set supplier rule. This is for Amazon. The category, we can say that it's always going to be office supplies. The due date, we'll say days after invoice date, and we'll just say 0 days after invoice date. Currency is always GBP. Payment method can always be credit card. We'll always mark it as paid. And you can see we can apply this to all inbox items from this supplier. So we'll do that. Apply. And then we'll just mark that document as ready. So now if we add an Amazon receipt again, if I just do add documents, this is actually going to create a duplicate. So we'll work out how to deal with duplicates, but we'll just add that in. and you can see it says this item was rejected as the file already exists within this account. So it's not even letting us add that in. It knows that it's already got that document. It's exactly the same as a document it's already got. So I'll add a different Amazon receipt. We'll go for this one. I don't think I've added this one before. That's processed. We'll go to our inbox. Oh, in the meantime, it's finished doing that Argos receipt. We'll come back to that in a minute. But here is our Amazon receipt that we've just added here, and we'll just check that supplier rules have all kicked in correctly, and they have. So we've got the invoice date and due date are now the same. It's automatically put the office supplies in, and it's automatically marked it as paid and put the correct payment method in. So that is all done. I'll just move that to ready, and you can see we've just got one thing to review here, and that is our Argos receipt. So let's see how it's done with that. And you can see, first of all, it's automatically put the user as John Smith because I sent it to that John Smith email address. So we know that that is an invoice where John Smith bought that item. So as I say, if you've got multiple staff members and you want to work out who's bought what, then it's going to keep track of all of that sort of thing for you. So I'll just click on this. Let's have a look at how it's done. We'll just do it side by side with the original invoice so we can see, well, it's identified the supplier as being Argos. Quite cleverly, it's put the invoice date as the 2nd of February. It hasn't gone from this. That is the delivery date, the 6th of February. It's automatically extracted the order date, which is the correct invoice date from further down on the receipt. We've got the order number as the reference number, which is perfect. The only thing it hasn't really worked out is what the item is, and I'm not really surprised. So it's an oil-filled radiator for the office, so I'm just going to put that in, radiator for office. And obviously you could set categories or whatever for that sort of thing. I'm just going to leave it as is. Other than that, everything is perfect. Move to ready. I think one slight frustration is sometimes the little numbers on here don't update until you actually click on the folders, but I think these little niggly things will probably get sorted over time. So everything is sitting in the ready inbox. Nothing is to review, nothing needs to be processed or anything like that. So those are all done, and as I say, from here you could either publish those straight into your accounting software, or you could just export them all to a spreadsheet or a CSV or whatever you want to do. You can do CSV, PDF, or a zip file. Loads of different options here for your export, but I would suggest all you do if you don't have accounting software is you just do it as a CSV, do export, download it, and then that is ample information for your accountant, whether you're doing it quarterly or yearly or whatever. But the game changer in all of this really starts coming into play when you start using the app. So I've got the Dext app on my phone here. I'm logged in as one of my demo user accounts, and imagine you're out and about and you've just bought a few things. You want to scan those receipts to bring them into your business accounts, and you just want to get that done as quickly as possible on the go. I've got a couple of kind of Wix receipts here and another kind of a ridiculous one just to see if it can handle it. But I'm going to snap this Wix receipt first of all. It's a single receipt, so I'm just going to hit that. Done, submit. And then we've got another one here. We'll do that as well. Done, submit. And then, as a bit of a challenge, we've got literally, it's a handwritten receipt, and we'll see how it handles that from a made-up milk company called Jeff's Milk. So again, I'm just going to hit the plus button, snap that. Done. Submit. That is it. Let me show you how that now looks in the desktop app. So again, I'll just click on the inbox to refresh the screen, or let's see, let's try review. So straight off we can see we've got our 2 Wix receipts. They've already been processed, so we just need to have a look at those and see that they look vaguely correct. Again, we've got a picture of the receipt there for reference, and again, we can pretend this is customer materials for a job or whatever. I'm just going to put timber. And it's got all the amounts perfect, it's got the payment method perfect, that is done. Move to ready, and we've got this one as well. Once again, we've got the scan of the receipt there, we've got all the categories and everything look correct. Description, it's got a suggested description here, I might as well add that in. Everything else is perfect, we'll do move to ready. And then we can see the final one is still sitting in processing. I would expect that to take a little bit longer, but it's managed to get 6 of the 7 fields. No spoilers, we'll see how it does. And a little while later, and it's got it. All from a completely handwritten receipt. I haven't done a thing to this. Let's have a look at it. Here's the original scan of the receipt. It's got the supplier as Jeff's Milk. It's got the date correct, 12th of May, 24. Obviously, we could set up a category for it. We've got the description. We'll just put Jeff's Milk. And most importantly, it's got the amount correct as well. It doesn't know the payment method. I'm just going to add a payment method here of, well, let's put just petty cash. But yeah, it's got everything. It did take a little bit longer than the other ones. Probably took about 10-15 minutes before it jumped into the inbox queue. But we can say move to ready now with that. And once again, if we click on the ready inbox, we've got all of these ones which we could export or do whatever we wanted. There is a lot more you can do on the receipt side of things, but that kind of is it in a nutshell. But I just want to very quickly show you some of the other functionality, because we can also track sales within this. So let's say, for example, you're a very small business where you generate your customer invoices on a spreadsheet or in a Word document or something like that. So you need to log those somehow. So you've got a track of all of your income and things that you can pass to your accountant at the end of the year. Well, I've got a bunch of example invoices here that we've generated for our customers. I'm imagining that we are like an electrician business called Billy the Spark. And as I say, these are all invoices that we've issued to our customers, and we want to log this in some sort of way so our accountant or ourselves, if we're doing our own accounts at the end of the year, have a complete record of all of our sales. Well, honestly, this is so easy, you'll not believe it. All we've got here is our PDF copies of the invoices. Equally, there could be photographs, there could be scans, anything you like. Same as before, you could send it by email, because if we go down to the My Team option, do view email addresses, you can see we've got a sales inbox as well. So you could just BCC this email address every time you send an invoice to a customer, as an example. But anyway, I'll do it the manual way just to show you how it works. I'll just do, sales inbox, because we're logging sales here and not purchases. And I'm just going to do add documents. Once again, I'm just going to drag and drop all of them. We've got 5 here. We'll drag and drop them onto there. 5 documents uploaded successfully, and find them in processing. And no, you can't, because it's already processed them. So they're straight into the inbox and they're in the to review queue. And look at this, it's got pretty much everything. So we've got the document owner as Andy Mack, because it's me who submitted them. It's a sales invoice, it's automatically identified that. It's got the date from the invoice, 23rd of May 24. Customer, it's saying, do you want to use the customer name that's on the invoice, Jeffrey Jackson? Yes, I will. Click on that. It's automatically populated that. We've got the invoice number there. We've got the due date's been identified. If you want, you can put in a category. I'm just going to put general income. If you wanted, you could add a description in. We've got the total amount. Let's just have a look. Has it got it correct? Yes, £1,400. It's got all of that. We've not got any tax on this. And then we could obviously mark when it's been paid and all that sort of thing. Anyway, that's all fine. Move to ready. It's automatically flipped onto the next one. We'll just say, yes, use that customer. That is fine. Move to ready. Same on the next one. Should we use that customer? Yep, do that. Move to ready. Next one, should we do that? Yep, do it. Move to ready. And that one, we'll do that as well. Move to ready. Oh, and we didn't put categories in. Let's do that. We'll just do general income. Again, you can set up rules for all this sort of thing. Really straightforward, but where's it gone? General income, that'll do. So as easy as that, we've logged all of our sales. And because we've added a customer in, we've now started creating our own little customer database. And if we go down to more lists at the bottom here, go to customers, we can see, look, all of our customers are in here. We can add a category for all of these. We can then delve into the customer information and add a bit more kind of stuff in here. It would be nice over time to be able to start logging things like email addresses of the customer and that as well, because that is a massive headache for small businesses, keeping track of customers' email addresses. You could do it all within here. That would be a really nice thing for them to add. But for now, it lets us delve into how many invoices a particular customer's had. So you can see this one has had 1 invoice. We can click on view and it's basically automatically set up a filter for that customer, just so that we can see all of their invoices. I can click on that, have a look at it, what they actually received, and then at the point it's been paid or whatever, we can go into here, click the paid button and put the payment method in, etc, etc. Again, another thing I would like to see in here would be a payment date option, because it is useful if you can log when you were paid by the customer. Again, you're bridging more across into what an accounting application would do there, but you would want to keep a log of when you were paid for a particular job. I suppose in the meantime, you could put the payment date as being the due date. So let's say this person paid on the 15th. You could do it like that, and at least you've got a log of it then, so it's not impossible to get around that. But yeah, it would be nice to have a payment date option in there. Again, you've got a history, full audit trail of everything that's happened on that particular record. You can add notes in. That note isn't really applicable anymore, but that auto-populated. And here's the really nifty thing: if you are wanting to now track your expenses across to a particular customer, then you can do that. You can go to your costs inbox, find that particular receipt. Let's say that this order from Wix here was for one of our customers that we've just added, that we've invoiced. Well, now you see we've got a customer option here, and we can select which customer that was for. How cool is that? We'll go into another one here and just change that. What's the customer? We'll say that was for Jeffrey Jackson. Awesome. And it gets even better. Imagine you've got a really big customer where you always do loads and loads of work for them, and you're wanting to subcategorize your purchases by project. Well, you can do that as well. If you go down to the lists menu down here, you've got vehicles, suppliers, blah, 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 all of that. Man, I could make a separate video about all of this. But if you go down to projects, do add project, and let's say it's for an electrical refresh project. We'll do add, and then we can go back to our costs. And now if we go into this particular one here, we'll go to that one. Look at this, we've now got a project drop down, and we can say that cost was for this electrical refresh project for Jamie Smith. Now you need to kind of develop your own workflow for how this would work, because you can potentially go into a different customer and add, for example, I could go to this one and I could add that same project in over here as well. So you need to kind of work out what's the best way of doing that, but you've got the flexibility there of having customer level segregation and project level segregation. And what if you've got a project with sub-projects? Well, you could do that as well. You can have a second level project segregation. So we'll put in here Newcastle office. So you get the kind of idea. It's quite flat the way it works. It's not like a hierarchical thing at the moment, but you can develop this around your own workflows. So if I now go down to this one here, you can see we've got a second project box here. We've got electrical refresh, and we can now say it's for the Newcastle office. So it's really quite useful just being able to segregate everything like that. And equally, you can do the same on the sales side. So if I go down to the sales inbox, let's look at the Jamie Smith customer and this particular invoice here. We can assign that to projects as well, exactly the same way as the costs. So yeah, as I say, I'm only scratching the surface here. You can set yourself up with a free trial and have a play yourself. If you could do me a massive favor and use the link that I've mentioned, that would be absolutely awesome. There's a QR code on the screen that'll take you straight to it. But yeah, there's loads more stuff in here. We've got expense claims. We've got links to your bank account. You can literally import your bank statements and then kind of cross-reference between your bank statement and your costs and your sales. And it'll do all of that by literally scanning a bank statement. It doesn't need to be in like a spreadsheet format or a CSV. You can literally just drag and drop a PDF of your bank statement onto this and it just gets it. It's amazing. I've tried it. It's a difficult thing to show you because all the information's so kind of confidential. I'll tell you what, I'll do it and then I'll just need to blur out most of the screen. I'm just going to do add bank account. I'm going to do it manually. Continue bank. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to make it up. Let's just do that. Account name, test bank account number 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll do. And then I'm going to do add documents bank, and I'm just going to drag and drop a statement on. And now if I go to processed statements, there it is there. And if I go on transactions, it's literally scanned the entire bank statement and brought everything in absolutely perfectly. You can set it up to do that automatically with a direct, like an open banking connection to your bank account. And you can do a similar thing with suppliers as well. So you can do supplier statements and then reconcile directly from a statement from your supplier to all of your purchase invoices. Honestly, there's so much stuff you can potentially do here to make your business life so much easier. And by the way, here's the connections section down the bottom here. Full integration with Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, all of these sort of things. You can connect directly across to your accounting software if you use it. You can do automatic invoice fetching. This is really clever. So you can do add here. So for example, you can add in Amazon as a connection and then automatically load all your invoices in. I'm not going to do that at the moment. You've got vehicles and mileage logging, which is a brand new feature that they've just added. I'll very quickly show you the mileage thing because it's really quite nifty. If you just go to expense claims and mileage, create mileage claim, pick your vehicle. I'll say that this was done in Brian's car. Who's putting this claim through? I'll say it's me. What the date was, you can just put in, let's say it was Newcastle to London. We'll say it was a round trip. It's automatically worked out the distance. You can put a bit extra information in there. You can do your create claim and that's it all added in, along with like a little map of where you've gone. And once again, you can cross-reference that to a particular supplier. Maybe you were visiting a particular supplier, or you can cross-reference it to a particular customer, a particular project, a sub-project. You can put descriptions in. Honestly, yeah, you can get lost here with the amount of information you can potentially log, and it's automatically worked everything out as per HMRC's mileage rates, so you don't even have to think about that side of things. Oh, and down in connections, you can even do file storage integration. So if you want to back everything up, you've got all of these options here to choose from. So you could link it directly to Dropbox. If you've got a Dropbox account, for example, you would just log in, connect your account, and that's you all up and running. So yeah, really powerful stuff. There's a lot you can do with this. I can certainly imagine a lot of very small businesses being able to make use of this, and larger businesses as well, where you need to be able to control teams of people and all of their purchases, all of their expense claims, all of that sort of thing. You can do it all within this one app. So folks, I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, we've barely scratched the surface of what this can do. I'll probably make some more videos going into some of the more kind of in-depth functionality in a bit more detail, because otherwise this video will be crazily long. But if all you want to do is use it for receipt scanning, you can use it just for that and nothing else. But it can do a whole load more, and I think over time it's going to evolve into a fully fledged, you know, almost turning into an accounting package in its own right. If you do think Dext is potentially a good fit for your business, if you could do me a massive favor and use the link in the description or the QR code that's on the screen at the moment, that would be massively appreciated. You can set yourself up with a free trial to have a play around with it, see if it suits your needs, and if it does, then you can sign up to whatever plan you think will suit your business. If you've got any particular questions or anything like that, I'm working really closely with Dext on this one because I'm very excited about it, as you can probably tell. So I do have contacts directly within Dext. If there's particular features you would like to see or the things that you don't understand, do fire away in the comments below and I will do my best to get that information over to Dext, or I'll try and answer the questions for you. If there's particular parts of Dext that you would like me to cover in a bit more detail, do pop that down in the comments as well, because as I say, there's a lot to this. It can do very powerful stuff, but if you just want it for receipt scanning, just use it for receipt scanning. For now folks, as per usual, good luck on your small business journey. We shall see you next time. Tatty bye.